Yes, people. What's going on? DL Talks Football. We're back again with another video. Today's video, ladies and gentlemen, we just had Liverpool versus Manchester City at Anfield, and it ended in a 1-1 draw. And everybody's asking, were Liverpool robbed? Let me know in the comment section. And if you're watching this on the playback, first thing I want you to do before you hit the like button, before you go to the description and you check out the other boys' channels, do me a favor. Let me know, do you think Liverpool were robbed? We're going to talk about the Liverpool game. We're going to talk about Arsenal going top of the league, but for how long? We play Manchester City next. So we're going to find out if we can keep this position. But right now, that's where you want to be. We're joint on points, but we're ahead based on our goal difference, which is, I think, like 8 or 6 superior. We'll figure it out. We'll check it in a second. Also, Tottenham, they won their top 4 decider. Tottenham won their top 4 decider. And who thought Tottenham were going to absolutely humiliate Aston Villa the way that they did? Of course, the red card helped, but we're going to get into all of that. Before we go any further, today's a little bit different. We got a quick show for you guys. We're gonna first introduce the Liverpool fan today, Saber. Big up to you, bro, for joining. And of course, I'm going to put the link to his channel in the description. So make sure you do send me that in the private chat. We also have Vader in the house, who is the City fan. So as we're waiting for Jay, I think I'm going to kind of be in a little bit of a neutral here and let you guys go and speak about the game because it is your teams. And maybe I should put Saber on this side. And Saber, I'm not sure if you met Vader. Vader, I don't know if you met Saber, but big up to you guys for joining and being on time. But yeah, big up to everyone in the comment section also. Let's get straight into it. Tell me about the game, and then we'll get to where Liverpool robbed and everything else in a second. But just you tell me what you thought about the game, and how do you feel leaving this game now, coming off the back of it? So talk to me, Saber. Oh, you're on mute, bro. You're on mute.
My apologies. As you are the away team, I'd like to give you the floor to begin with. Because you scored the opening goal as well, you have the floor first.
Sorry, my bad.
It's okay.
No, I appreciate that. Listen, first and foremost, I knew it was going to be a difficult game versus Liverpool. Klopp's there's the reason why I have this end of an era, because there's been a battle between Klopp and Pep for a long time now. I had no misgivings on what this game was going to be about. I knew it was going to be a fight from the beginning. The fact that we scored the way we did, man, I was amped because I was like, in none of my, permutations thinking about the game did I think we were going to score off a set piece. So the fact that we did that, I was like, oh, this is almost bonus. Now let's continue to doing what we're doing, because the first 10 minutes we were all over Liverpool. Like four corners early in the game, and the way we were just attacking, and the movement was great. But then I hate Anfield, man. I hate that place. There was just something that just kind of clicked. Even before the second half came along, Liverpool were now comfortable. They knew where the pockets were. They're moving the ball around. There's some, long balls over top. I peeped it early where they were like, Kelleher was trying to get that ball centrally over the top. Nunez was going to flick it on for someone to run onto. They seemed like that was something that they trained and worked on. But 1-0, I'm like, yeah, we can win this game. And not to go too much into breaking things down, but we knew Liverpool were going to be relentless. We knew opportunities were going to be made. Now, I'm gonna be balanced and be shameless at the same time, or sprinkle in a little bit of my agenda or observations. Had it been anyone else in your attack, had it been Salah instead of Nunez playing for the majority of that game, I think it's a different story. I counted 5-6 times Nunez being offside, not only with a scoring opportunity, but being offside to just kill off an attack. And he doesn't have it up here. When I've seen Nunez have his best games, it's when he's been subbed on. He hasn't had to focus and concentrate for 90 minutes. So I thought that saved us for a bit, but go ahead.
I'm not going to sit here and criticize Darwin Nunez for today's result. That is completely not on Darwin Nunez. Manchester City came to Anfield, and let me land. Manchester City came to Anfield with a game plan. They haven't won at this ground with supporters, barring that 4-1 since 2001. Going back, I don't know how many games that is, but it's a long time. And teams generally at Anfield, they come and they can't deal with the atmosphere. We've seen it under Jurgen Klopp many times. But this season, there's been a bit of a shift. You know, you've seen the likes of Arsenal come to Anfield and play us off the park for a good half an hour. Them getting a goal off a set piece very early. The situation was very similar with Man City coming in. Pep Guardiola being the leader that he is, the amazing coach that he is, has always spoke about Anfield in such high regard. It's one of the grounds that he's always struggled at. Always. He's got one win there with Manchester City, and that was the one during COVID. But the start, I looked at the lineups before football was kicked. I looked at the lineups and go, oh, no Mohamed Salah, no Ibrahima Konate, Gomez, the inverting left back. I think that's a bit too many changes at the back. I was obviously looking at Man City's team thinking that's a strong 11 they've put. Pep Guardiola has not come here to piss about. He's come here to play and win. And you have to in these title races. You've got Arsenal, who have just gone top of the league. You've got Liverpool just creeping behind, and you've got Man City, who are looking for the four in a row. So City had to win, and they didn't win. Liverpool also had to win, and they didn't. But we'll get onto that in a second. The start from my side, I was really nervous. I thought we'd start on a house on fire. You know, the fans will be up for it. It's Man City, and normally against Man City, Liverpool start really well. We've blown you away before in the Champions League. We've beaten you quite a few times at Anfield, and it's always down to how quickly we start the game. But it was quite an opposite this time. Man City came to Anfield with a game plan, executed it very well, and they got the goal of a set piece. Very similar to what Arsenal did as well. They got their goal of a set piece with Gabriel, and they just were waiting for the chances to come. But Man City were creating. But then it shifted. It shifted during the game after that 20 minutes. It shifted. And normally it's the other way around, where Liverpool start very quickly and the other teams start to gain control. But it was a different kind of switch. And I've never seen that from Liverpool. And it was very strange. But once we got control of that game, it was only going to end one way. And I thought that'd be a Liverpool win. But it wasn't meant to be, especially in that first half.
So hold on. You got 1 sec.
Go ahead.
I'm not saying I'm putting the loss on Nunez, but I'm saying in that first half, the reason, like, again, going into the halftime 1-0 was a large part because of those wasted opportunities that fell to the feet of Nunez or him being out of position. Like, you gotta put the comment up, like, why is the City fan talk about Foden or your own striker? I'm just talking about the first half. My observation, we were leading that. It wasn't a 1-1. It wasn't anything other than that 1-0 for us. I think because of Nunez's wastefulness in possession or offside opportunities. That's it.
Okay, I want to know. Do you guys want the banter first, or do you want the truth? Because, like, which one? Because
mix it up.
The banter side of me would have said, you know what, that comment has a point. Phil Foden was through 1-on-1. What did he really do throughout the 90 minutes? You could also point out Erling Haaland didn't really get a chance. They did a good job neutralizing Erling Haaland, did a good job neutralizing Rodri, and that's Endo neutralizing him, if I'm not mistaken, who was literally laughed at, ridiculed. So from that perspective, you guys have a lot to answer for, and you did not play well. City literally were holding on to a point like they couldn't even try to think about attacking.
I can respond to that.
I will give you a response, not a problem. And then when it comes, you're not going to get off either, so I'm going to come to you in a second. But when it comes to the final point on City, you guys, you can't figure out who's going to play that left wing spot. You literally are having a problem now. Grealish got injured. He's been off form. Alvarez comes in there, doesn't look good. Jeremy Doku comes in there, was so unlucky to miss that chance. But really and truly, outside of that, I didn't feel like he offered too much. And then overall, you had a little bit of words for his team, but I feel like there's a lot to be said about Man City right now.
Yeah, no problem. You said a lot, so I'll address it as best as I can. I think we both have the same problems at left wing. Your Martinelli's out and you're trying to find solutions. I don't think you're happy with whoever covers in that position right now. Same Jack Grealish, he locked that down. We won a treble last year because of how well he plays that position. Doku, new addition, injured, why he didn't start and why he didn't play the previous game. And yeah, Pep's trying to see who can kind of play that role without him. Alvarez, we know this. He's a striker by nature. Him being out on the wing or playing 10, that's not him. That's Pep wanting his quality on that pitch, but he's not playing in his natural position. And rightfully so. How could he play in his natural position when we have the best striker in the world? So that's that. Now, we didn't play typically our City's best, but I think that's also credit to Liverpool and playing at Anfield. They were the home team. I heard some Liverpool supporters almost trying to paint the picture like it was like a 50-50 going to Anfield. Nah, this is your house. You're also top of the league for a reason. So I think we just showed to not be our best, but that's the quality of what Liverpool are.
So
And
you're playing the underdog gimmick coming to Anfield when you have your whole squad available.
I'm trying to speak serious. I'm trying to speak serious, and you're trying to throw out underdog.
I am being serious. This is a completely valid question. You had every single player basically available for you. We are missing key personnel. Yet
all right, so let's speak on that. Let's speak on that, because when you say I'm trying to move with an underdog gimmick,
you said coming.
That's far from it. But let's be real with regards to this game. I lost my starting keeper in this game. So when you were looking at how were we playing, or where was the drop in performance, there was a clear drop in performance between Ederson and Ortega. All right. When we want to talk about who was starting and who wasn't starting, like I said, I didn't have, in terms of my starting team, like you would have, but you're accustomed to that. You've been playing without Allison. So it's no surprise there.
That's not the point. That is completely not the point. We are still missing. You have every single player available. Edison got injured during the match. He cost you a goal, Edison, basically. He didn't. Ake
cost us the goal.
Who made the challenge?
He had to make the challenge based off of the pass from Ake. What are you talking about? Is he supposed to let the man go on to goal?
Technically, Ake is at fault, but Ederson is the one that commits the foul to give away the penalty.
I'm gonna be honest with you, mate. I'm gonna be completely honest.
Hold on. I'll move on. But are you saying Ederson's at fault? Because I just want to understand how we look at fault.
Ake's at fault. Ake's at fault.
Okay.
But in the same breath, Ake also helped get you guys your opening goal. So I gotta give him a little bit of credit also.
Okay.
He had a massive part to do with the set piece. He basically cleared out the way for John Stones for the tap-in.
Okay.
But look, for now, I don't want to drift off because we were speaking about players available. Manchester City had every single player possibly that I can think of, bar Jack Grealish, available for this match. That is not my fault if Pep Guardiola is sticking Julian Alvarez off the left wing when he's got Jeremy Doku and Phil Foden available to play there.
Okay, I see the energy. I'll respond appropriately. All right, go ahead.
No, there's no. Honestly, I respect Manchester City a lot as what you've done.
But when you use words like "it's not my fault," of course, our squads and who's starting 11 is. You know what? I'm gonna let you finish because go ahead.
No, because you said coming to Anfield is never going to be a 50-50. So what are you trying to say? Man City were coming to Anfield as the underdogs.
100%. If you were coming to my house, I would say I'm advantage City because you're coming to the Etihad. If I'm going to Anfield, advantage Liverpool. Simple.
Okay, so what's your basis on that? Tell me what's your basis on that. So if Manchester City go to Crystal Palace,
the same way you introduced this show and said we hadn't won there in 20 plus years, that's my basis on that.
Okay, so your basis on not coming to Anfield and not getting a result in the last 20 years is that's why you're the underdogs. The treble winners, Manchester City, are going to an injured Liverpool FC, but they're the underdogs because they haven't won in the last 20 years. That's what you're saying, right?
All right. I know that it's not. I know you're not used to other clubs being the underdog because that's your brand. You guys can pursue a quad one year and the next year you're underdogs. You guys can be leading the league and coming into a game, you're still underdogs. So in this instance, if you want to run like this was a 50-50 game, or you want to say that City was coming to this game and they should have been favorites, cool. I'm pointing out, I'm going to Anfield. This is your home ground. I haven't won there in 20 plus years. And because of that, it's not advantage City. Simple.
I think this is a great conversation. I kind of want to introduce Jay into the conversation. But before we do that, I think it's fair. We kind of grilled City. We're now going to talk about Liverpool for a second before Jay comes in.
How long out?
What?
I'm like, I can wait, but let me just put a couple of points in before we go back and forth because I just want to. So for me, watching this game, I thought it would be a draw. It was a draw, but the breakdown of the game was really interesting. I kind of disagree with Veta, but I agree with him simultaneously. I think in the context of going to Liverpool, I think Liverpool would be considered slight favourites, not taking into account the current team and injury issues. Therefore, it evened it up to quite a 50-50 game. Maybe even argue the City were maybe slight favourites because they had a more full squad. But I would say the game was fairly 50-50 because you'd seen how Liverpool's team had performed without these players, and they were still playing to a high level, smashing teams up. So I think it was a 50-50 game. The game itself was not a 50-50 game. And I said going into the game, City this season have yet to show me in a top 6 game the City that I am used to, the level of City that I'm used to. This game continued that trend. They were the second best side. They should have lost this game, really. And the interesting thing to me is it's not that City didn't have opportunities to score and to themselves win this game. It's the level of control that I'm used to with Man City was completely absent.
Not employed.
I made a comment about my favorite Argentinian Neil Mope, or as you guys like to call him, Julian Alvarez, a few weeks ago. And I said that, you know, if you take away his ball striking, there's not a huge amount there. I was laughed at a little bit, but I think in games like this, you really do start to potentially see. And let me not be too unfair. Let me not dance around the grave. You know, Pep threw him in at left wing. Yeah, hasn't played there before. Played in a tough game, big match against a guy on form, Bradley. Bad decision by Pep. That's a bad tactical decision by Pep. The player didn't help it by not really performing very well, but the manager didn't really set him up to succeed. Do you know what I mean? That's a new partnership on that side. He doesn't really. I think that actually contributed to how Liverpool played well. I would just say that for me, Liverpool were impressive. You know, played with a lot of energy, a lot of pace, good side. I don't think I can make any decisions or acknowledgements from this game. It's almost like as you were at the end of the game. You can't, you know, we could maybe run some rolling narratives from the game, but essentially it's the status quo between these teams afterwards. So I think for me, City don't necessarily look like the best side at the moment out of the 3 teams, but
they have that winning experience.
It's about how you finish.
Know-how.
City will take a point not playing to their maximum against a team that played very well, and they'll put the point in the bag, they'll leave, and you know they can argue it's still in their hands. So
I think that's where the perfect point where I should jump in. I think I'm going to bounce off that point. I think Liverpool view this game as 2 points dropped, and I think City view it as 1 point gained. Do you guys agree?
Absolutely.
Vader, do you see it as 1 point gain based on how the context of the game? How, in my opinion, you pointed out Darwin Núñez. I'm going to point out Luis Diaz because I thought Luis Diaz had the game in the palm of his hands on chance after chance after chance, and it seemed like he was doing a drill to see how well he could do to get into the box and not score because every single time he was getting to that final third at will. You guys, there was one moment where he had everybody on that right side on toast, and Kyle Walker couldn't keep up with him. And then at the end, his final strike where he needed to cross it in, somehow it went out. And you're looking at Luis Diaz, and I'm saying to myself, that's why I have him in the thumbnail. That's why people are thanking Luis Diaz today. Like Arsenal fans are probably looking to themselves, and if there's anyone we're going to be thanking from the Liverpool side who had a stinker, it's Luis Diaz. He was so good from A to B, but when it came to C, to finally finish, to get that goal, he couldn't do it. And today, he is one of the main reasons why you came out of that game with a draw and not a victory, because he couldn't produce the end product. Similar to how we pointed out, how we point out Phil Foden, Haaland, Doku. We have to keep the same energy for Liverpool. What on earth was Gakpo doing? Strike the goddamn ball. You're in the box. Strike the ball. Why are you looking at Mo Salah get out of jail free card every 2 seconds? You need to put your leg through it. You have the confidence. We've seen it. You can score goals. Do it. And then now here comes the side where you're going to say, oh, I'm bantering. I'm being this. No, I'm being serious. Statistically, Liverpool Football Club this season have not gotten one win out of the 2 title rivals. You've played Arsenal twice. You lost. You drew. You played City twice. You drew twice. To me, if you're a serious title contender, you have to get some sort of wins versus these teams. And for you to get draws and a loss, I'm looking at it as I'm saying, you know what? You did well to stay in this title race, but that mini table between the 3 of us is where I think the league is going to be decided. Unlike you guys, where you probably think it's going to be decided from other factors, I think that mini table is going to determine who, after we play each other, after me and
Gal. I'm sorry, Gal. You already know Tottenham decide this Premier League title.
No. I hear you. I hear you. Then I have another fact for you there. If you want to say the top 6 teams decide the title race, well, Arsenal have 12 points this season off the top 6, and we have 3 wins, 3 draws. City have 2 wins, 5 draws, and a loss. And then you go to Anfield, they only have 1 win, and I think it's against Manchester. Is it Chelsea? One win this season versus the top 6 against Chelsea, and then the rest draws. You have 7 points out of the top 6 games, the big 6 games that you've played, where we have 12, they have 11. So your form against not only the title rivals, but the top 6 has been the worst out of everybody. I'm not sitting here writing off Liverpool, but I'm looking at this and I'm saying to myself, this is not something that a team that goes on to win the league does.
Absolutely, you make some very. You can go as well, but you make some very.
You guys hear my point? I'm basically.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely.
Indirectly calling them pretenders.
See, that's where I'm going to disagree with you.
See, now the thing is that it was better when you just left it in the air, the essence, the nuance of the point, without actually spelling it out for us. That's the aroma was fine. I didn't need to see the meal.
He's called Liverpool title pretenders. So I'll let you get on to him as well. But let me have this one, because I do not think Liverpool are title pretenders, and I'll tell you why. So he said Liverpool have not beaten Arsenal or Manchester City this year. So out of that mini league table, out of the 2 teams that we were supposed to play, Liverpool are bottom. But you also look at that. That's for me. That's not where the league's won, because there's 17 other teams in this Premier League as well. If we can lose to an Arsenal and a Manchester City, but if we beat the other 17 teams, you lose to Man City, for example, you lose to a Brighton which is a capable Man City have dropped points to Palace. You've dropped points this season. I can't really remember. West Ham at home, West Ham, Fulham. It can happen. Anyone can beat anyone in this Premier League. That's why for me it doesn't come down to you beating Arsenal or Manchester City. In the fine margins, yes, because the gap is 1 point. And that's where the factor will come up at the end of the season. That maybe then we'll look back and say, oh, Liverpool could have beaten Arsenal, they would have won the title. Liverpool beat Manchester City, they could have won a title. But people don't understand, Liverpool have 7 draws this season. So those draws against Luton, Brighton, teams like that we should be winning. That's what it comes down for me, because the games that we should be winning, we have not won. We can lose to an Arsenal and a Manchester City. They are top teams. They are very, very, very good teams. Probably the top 2 teams in the world at the moment for me personally, anyway. So you can very, very easily lose to those teams and still win the title. But
how about this?
Draws that have cost Liverpool. The draws early in the season.
Okay. You know what? That's obviously it's harsh, but my main point was accurate. When it comes to this game, though, you were the better team. There was a lot of confidence you can gain from this, and you can only get better. But the reality of the situation is it was a big opportunity missed. Absolutely. Because the reason why you guys – City could have really been out of this title race in 2 weeks' time if you guys beat them and then we beat them. Now you're giving them life. This is where we need to bring it back to the title race, and we can introduce Arsenal if you guys want also. But Jay, did you have something else to say on this?
Yeah, just briefly was I hear the points about title race. I'm a big fan of that kind of point methodology of maybe you want to beat the bottom 10 teams home and away, and you want to be the top 10 teams at home, and then you're getting close to 90 points, and that gives you like 10 games to play with in terms of like losses and stuff. And I think if you're around that, you'll do well. So the individual games, from a bragging rights point of view, yeah, sure. From a tangible, they're still just 3 points. You know what I mean? If somebody goes and loses at home to Fulham next week, the momentum from a positive win is completely gone. So I would say that's why it's in these kind of games, the narrative about the game and how City played, it'll fade very quickly. But I think there's good lessons for City to learn. And I think Pep can look at that and say, oh, well, City fans are justifiably maybe say, well, why didn't Oscar Bob get minutes out wide rather than Alvarez? Yeah, like why didn't you start Foden out wide? Why did Kovacic not play? There's a lot of justifiable questions, but that's what happens when you have a versatile team. You have options.
You want to know something? Everyone in the chat is bantering about Foden. There's a lot of Arsenal fans in the chat. Do you want to speak about Foden for a second?
I don't mind, bro. Listen, and any give against.
No, I was saying.
Like yesterday, when Arsenal were struggling against Brentford and they weren't getting a goal.
It
wasn't. So it's not. I don't like the narrative of individual games to say this player is not this or this player is not that. Obviously they've both got good form. If we're going to micro-analyze them game by game, okay, let's talk on Saka yesterday.
Saka was poor.
Yeah, cool.
You know what? We're gonna get on to Saka in a second.
So Saka was poor. Foden was poor.
Do you want to give Vader an opportunity to defend this player also?
Listen,
I can tell Jay has a soft spot for him.
I like them both. I'm like Rio Ferdinand. Why don't we just enjoy them both? You know what I mean? I like them both.
Well, I say this often, and I move like Denzel Washington in Equalizer. I won't deliberately go after Saka, but if it's a needless comparison, then yeah, I gotta back my boy Foden, right? In this game in particular, I thought he was gonna have a really good game. I think his first possession out on the wing, he kind of teased Gomez to go in for a tackle, lifted in and was attacking him down. And I thought, okay, he's gonna be cooking today, but the opportunities weren't often. And he came a little more central. He had that attempt. Kelleher made a very good save. I don't think the one that went off the crossbar would have been a goal because I think it deflected off of him, caught his arm before hitting the crossbar. But yeah, if we're going to be critical of him, yeah, he didn't have the best of games. And you guys, even earlier, when I'm saying I think it also spoke to the magnitude of this game. Like I can't say that Liverpool are a good team. I can't say that Liverpool have one of the best defenses. And when my players don't have a great performance, say it's on them and they just stunk it up. There's credit to the opposing team, how Klopp set them up, how they were being defended. So listen, do I want to see another performance like that? No. But am I thinking that he was poor because he didn't show up? No, I think he was poor because of how good Liverpool were today.
So let's get straight into it now. First of all, big up everyone in the comment section. Do me a favor, hit that like button right now. It's absolutely free. Also, make sure you guys check out Vader and bro, I keep calling you something else. How do I pronounce your name again one more time? Sarib. My apologies, bro. I'm so bad with names.
It's okay.
I've literally called Rack Ram and Ram Rack, and I've known them for
nobody's
years.
Name on like little name badges. No one has a little name badge.
Let me you know what? Let me put that back.
Igal doesn't like cross promotion. He's like, no.
It has nothing to do with that, bro. I always put people's stuff in the chat. But do me a favor, guys. We have over 120 people on YouTube, over 94 people on Twitter. Do me a favor, make sure you like the video, follow, do all the stuff you need to do. We're going to introduce Arsenal into this conversation quickly. And of course, you guys must be sick and tired of seeing the elephant everywhere. You must be sick and tired of seeing the elephant everywhere.
This is the first time I've seen the elephant. It's quite a bit. I didn't see. What is this about? Like the branch breaking or something?
Yeah. So we basically like adopted it as they started it as a diss. Now it's just our thing. The elephant's back up. We're going to talk about Aston Villa and Tottenham in a second, but right now let's just stick to the title race. You can see here Arsenal have gone top of the league, and we're going to talk about how we did it and the fashion that we did it in. But that goal difference, do you guys think that could actually play a major part in this title race at the end of the season, or do you think it's just good to have, but really and truly the points is where it's going to come down to?
No, listen. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's obviously it's worth a point, isn't it? It's like you finish on the same points. It's a decider. So no, I think it's important. It could come down to that. It's been that close before, and going into certain games, it affects your logic of what you need as a club. Because if you know that a team's got a better goal difference, like Liverpool now, certain games, if Arsenal drop, like they need to win certain games, and it will always be in the back of the mind of the opposition. So I think Arsenal have done well to, plus 46 is very impressive. It's a healthy goal difference. Not gonna lie.
What are you guys saying? You guys see Arsenal top of the table? Do you guys, as rivals? Because the sense that I get from Liverpool fans is they're more annoyed that Arsenal are technically top.
Can I just speak quickly before the rivals go? So as the quote unquote fourth best team in the league, uncrowned. We're not top four yet. Hey, uncrowned. What part of uncrowned don't you understand? Do you know what I mean? Like, do you guys not know the definition of uncrowned?
It's always uncrowned. It's always uncrowned when you're Tottenham, isn't it?
Yeah. So, but my point about Arsenal is, like, hate watching Arsenal. I thought I was going to get there this week. You know what I mean? I was close. You know, I stuck with the game all this time, and then they again, Havertz again in that kind of minute against Brentford again. But the thing is that I've always maintained that these aren't the games that Arsenal are going to win and lose the title off. Yeah, Arsenal have 4 bad boy away games. Yeah, before the end of the season. Yeah, including Spurs away, United away, City away, and I think Brighton away. Yeah, those are the hardest 4. Those are the games I'm judging Arsenal on. Those are the games which are going to make or break it. So this reminds me a little bit of Reece Nelson last season. Do you know what I mean? Doesn't really mean anything to me. You should have been winning this game anyway. The fact you won it late is good for you, but doesn't mean anything to me. I was expecting you to win this game. The fact that you added a little bit of drama to it made my Saturday evening go a little bit more excitingly. Do you know what I mean? Killed a bit of time for me.
JJ, this is where I'm gonna slightly disagree with you because Arsenal, people always like to compare Arsenal from what they were last season to now. And at this point last season, they may have had more points, but I think the league was a lot worse. As in the teams the league's closer to the teams closer to Arsenal were a lot worse, hence why they had more points. But as a complete team now, Arsenal are in a much better position than they were 12 months ago.
I'm not disagreeing with that point. My point is it like the Reece Nelson moment. They thought it was a moment, but it wasn't a moment. It was just a moment. You know what I mean? It was just a footnote in a wider story. And I'm just basically saying, with this moment against Brentford, to me, I'm not talking about the quality of Arsenal. I'm not talking about their impressiveness. I'm not talking about their ability to win or lose games. I'm saying this game right now, with Havertz scoring late and stuff, it didn't move me. It didn't move me.
You want to know why? You want to know why? The reason being because we punished ourselves against
exactly. Like you suffered in that game for no reason.
1 second. Against Bournemouth, if you guys remember, they were brilliant for and hit us quickly. We were shocked, and it wasn't like our own punishment. Against Brentford, we were in control of the game for 90 minutes.
That's what's different. That's what's
we just needed to score, and we eventually got the goal. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm not even going to talk about the refereeing performance. We all can agree Paul Tierney's not fit to be a referee in the Premier League. But when it comes to what happened in the
yes, he's not, because Havertz should have been sent off. Yes,
you guys can say whatever you want to say.
What did you want to say? What did you want to say?
We should have had a penalty.
Just hold on. Let me be clear, guys. As a team,
you want to know something? You guys watched a completely different game.
Hold on, be fair. I saw Bazuma get sent off for a second yellow for diving. Yeah, so I know there's precedent for that.
That wasn't that. Once again, that is a dangerous precedent because what happened? He actually got tripped over.
Oh, he didn't get tripped over. He had enough. He had enough. Like the kind of thigh on thigh. Like if I had that thigh on thigh with somebody and I was walking past them, I wouldn't even apologize.
Listen,
that's not enough contact for me to apologize for bumping into you.
I'm not going to spend any more oxygen on the Kai Havertz dive or the refereeing decisions.
Oh yeah, okay.
I'm literally just going to say to you guys. I'm literally just going to say to you guys. 1 second. I'm literally just going to say to you guys, if you felt like this game should have been refereed correctly, if Kai Havertz dived, then Trossard should have been given a penalty before that even happened.
That's what I'm saying.
The Trossard one was soft. The other one, Gabriel Pants, I'd be like, that was a...
Listen, bro, I don't even want to talk about the referees. Fuck the referees. That guy had no control of the game. He had no control of the game.
That's the story of the Premier League now. Look at today.
He literally couldn't actually stop the players from being stupid on the pitch. They were literally time wasting like crazy, and he couldn't do nothing. You guys all see it. Whenever you play any team that's time wasting, do the referees in the Premier League know how to manage these games anymore? No. Do they actually punish players? They don't.
The thing is that the point of team that you are now, you have to understand that happens now. As in
I hear that. That's why I want to talk about the football.
Yeah, because when you were 8 and you were playing park the bus football under Arteta, horrible football, kick the ball in the stands, waste time football. Even the other day, bro, even yesterday, don't think I didn't notice when you didn't give the ball back to the opposition. Yeah? You're a sly team. Don't be talking about the referee when your team's not above reproach.
Horrible football, no, they still won a trophy.
No, but I'm not disputing
Yeah.
whether they won a trophy. What I'm saying is,
Igal,
when at the time that Igal was a team that needed to employ those kind of tactics, it was all right for him. He didn't complain
but
about
guys,
it. No
I kind of want to get back on topic. Jay, please. I want to get back on topic, bro.
Tactics. Now he's like, oh my
One
God,
second, Jay.
can they referee the games properly?
Jay, I literally wanted it to be a footnote. I feel like we spent way too much time giving our energy and oxygen to this referee.
I'm community noting your footnote.
1 second. The reason I forgot to mention, did you guys think Liverpool were robbed before we go off referees completely? Because people were saying Liverpool were robbed. If you want, I can show you the actual.
Let's have a look at it in case somebody's not seen it again.
Have you guys not seen it?
I saw it. I think it could have been a penalty.
Basically, the final moment, the high boot from Jeremy Doku. People are saying that should have been given as a penalty, and they feel like they were robbed off the back of that decision.
Like, I want to hear. No, as the Man City fan, as he was on the receiving end of that, I want to hear what Vader has to say.
Can I show you the actual incident for anyone who hasn't seen it?
Absolutely.
Vader, you can commentate as we're showing the image.
It's going to be video. Oh,
no, it's right there.
So listen, you guys, comments, watching this on the rerun, replay, whatever you're going to say, Vader, you're shameless. I watched this in real time, and in real time, I thought McAllister made the most of it. I was on another panel show, and I talked about it, and they're like, listen, you're gonna say that his studs up is an endangerment? No, I'm not saying that. It is, but I think he clears the ball. McAllister obviously runs into him. Would it have been called? Have I seen it called? 100%. It was reviewed and not called. I'm accepting of it. If it were to happen to me, reviewed and not called, I'm not being shameless here. I would have accepted it. It's just one of those. And in real time, I don't know. I got to see it again in real time as it flows, because we can see contact and we can see when there's impact. You know what I mean? Like speed of movement. I have to watch it again. But I was like, okay.
So Vader, what you're saying to me is that if McAllister was making a challenge to Doku and it was the other way around, you would have said, oh, no penalty, that's okay. You would have been happily, if you saw that image of McAllister fouling Doku in the same position doing the exact same thing, you would be happy if it was not a penalty.
No, but this is what I'm getting at. This is what I'm getting at. In a still, I would call that a foul. I would. In real time and with speed is where I was like, you know what? I get it. I get why they reviewed it. I get why they said it wasn't a foul, because I think in real time speed, it's not of that impact. That's my belief right now. I need to see it again. I'm gonna be real with you. I need to see it in proper speed.
To me, that this incident, it reminded me a little bit on a slightly less aggressive gradient to the Onana incident against Wolves.
On the opening day.
Kind of like, I think there's a line between collision and, for me, I think it's just about a penalty, because when I'm looking at what Doku's trying to do there, he doesn't connect with the ball, and he connects with the man. Now, I can accept a collision, like people coming together, but it's his foot. With his foot, if it's just body on body, cool. But with his foot in that position, him not connecting with the ball and then colliding with the player, I personally would just fall just on the side of it's a penalty rather than it's a collision. I think they'll have said it's a collision, but I think it does classify as dangerous play, because if you put your foot up there to try and get the ball and you miss it and you collide with the player, that is dangerous from Doku. And technically, I think it, for me, no agenda aside, it falls into the threshold of it's slightly more than a collision. There's enough there for Liverpool to be like, that's a penalty.
Based on the rule books, based on the rules.
Did he collect the ball?
I didn't think he got the ball.
He did get the ball.
I think he got a bit of the ball. I think he got a bit of the ball.
Did he get? Because I wasn't sure whether
there was a slight touch on the ball. His foot
he got the ball and got the man, or got the man, got the ball, got the man.
That's why I compare it to it, Gal. I compare it to, because Jay's a Tottenham fan, so I remember the Curtis Jones challenge in the Tottenham Hotspur game where he basically got the ball, he slipped over the ball and he went into Basuma and he got sent off because of the follow through. I still think the ball was won. The ball was won, but his foot slid off the top of the ball and went into Basuma. I think this is a very, very similar situation where Doku's got some of the ball, but his foot is so high it can endanger an opponent. That by the rule book, this is a penalty.
If people are arguing the ball first, like for me, I wasn't sure he got the ball. Like as in, I wasn't sure that he cleanly got the ball sufficiently for somebody to be like he got the ball. Do you know what I mean? And people are saying I need to see the incident again because if people are saying he got the ball, like it was so clear that he got the ball, and I was like, it didn't feel that clear to me when I was watching.
Your foot is that high in the box, and you make a challenge on an opponent. A penalty should be given. It's simple as that. Your foot should not be that high. Look where his foot. It's on his McAllister's chest. Why is his foot so high in the box? Regardless,
I think if you're saying that he gets the ball, if people are saying that he touches the ball, I'd fall on the side it's a collision and it's not a penalty. I need to relook at the impact moment. I think if he gets the ball, it falls into the collision side.
Final verdict,
if he doesn't get the ball, it falls into.
1 second. You're in the VAR booth. You got 5 more seconds. What's your final verdict? You blowing the whistle or no?
It's a penalty.
I don't know. I don't know.
Vader?
If I saw this as a vid, I'd give you a straight answer. But as a still, I'd say, yeah, okay. As a still, I'd give it a penalty.
Jay?
I would have to see the point of contact. As a still, I would say, I don't know. I can't decide between collision or slightly reckless. It would depend on how much of the ball he got in the first instance.
For me, if knowing what minute in the game in and everything else, if there is clear contact to the player's chest and he follows through and hits him, I would give it up as a penalty. But if it's not deemed reckless enough where it could endanger the player, I'm not going to give it as a penalty.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. If that's anywhere on the pitch, that's a free kick. That's anywhere on the pitch. His foot is that high. The ball is there to be won.
You have to look at the context.
Is a free kick. There's no context. The rules are the rules. Whether it's in the box, it's on the pitch. If it's in the box or in the pitch,
we've seen handballs. We've seen handballs not given.
But that's not down to us. That's down to refereeing decisions. I don't want to get into refereeing because we're going to be here all day talking about.
Let's get to the super chat. Big up Ozan Kabak, my guy. He says we all know Arteta was in the VAR booth.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Something at the Arsenal game. There was a guy sitting in front of me the whole game. He was calling Paul Tierney a scouse C word because he felt like literally we weren't getting any calls. But yeah, the Arsenal game can be broken down into so many different areas. But I'm just gonna ask you guys, what did you guys think of Kai Havertz contributing with the game winner against Brentford? Also, let me know what you guys thought about Ben White and his recent performances. And the guy just absolutely class for Arsenal, in my opinion. Our defense, you know what? Ramsdale proved he's not on Raya's level in the sense that he's nervy. He had one game and he messed up. And overall, the team performance, I could speak about Saka being poor. I could speak about Trossard being poor. I could speak about how good Odegaard was. He's on form right now. Declan Rice doing what Declan Rice does, getting a goal, doing his job to a T. I felt like when Jesus came on, that is what we're going to do against Porto. I see it. I envision it. Jesus up top, and like Havertz there. But if there's a situation where we have an injury to Trossard now, then Jesus plays on the left wing, and you play the same midfield. Just throw Jesus in the left. I think we really have a good team right now, and I do believe this team has what it takes to go and win it. But we need to go and still go through the gauntlet. City away, Tottenham away, Manchester United away.
You ain't leaving with nothing. You ain't taking nothing from our stadium.
No, but you want to know something? Knowing you have a good record against City, and you do get points
against Liverpool. We'll go Liverpool. Like we're money at Anfield. We don't win, but they ain't winning until the 92nd minute either. Do you know what I mean? They
I want to know. Talk to me.
They'll win it in the 95th minute.
Talk to me about the game, please, and then we'll talk about Tadarace on next week.
Yeah. So Villa, yeah, like I was going into this game, and I was like, okay, the top 3 teams.
Wait, why are you going into Villa, Tottenham?
This guy could talk to me about the game, and I was like, I said,
yeah, the Arsenal game. The Arsenal game.
Oh, right. Oh, these bozos again. Right. So, I thought Arsenal played well.
You know what?
Ramsdale was hilarious. Like,
I'll cut him a break. He hasn't
funny.
played much, and afterwards he was really good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But the thing is that at that point to give up, it's funny because it reminded me a bit of the Southampton game where it's like, this is a title race. You can't be doing nonsensical things like that. That's nonsensical. So I'm watching Ramsdale and I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. And then, Arsenal, they played well, but this is interesting because when I was watching the game, I realized, because it's like when Spurs played Arsenal too. That first 20, 30 minutes when you go to Arsenal, you just need to withstand it. You need to get through it. A lot of teams will. But if you can get through that first 20, 30 minutes, yeah, they start to, start passing the ball around. They start doing that U shape, passing it from one fullback to the other. They struggle to break. You can get at them, but you got to withstand it. And, credit to Arsenal. They've got a good squad. I looked at the bench. I was like, oh, man. Even when I was 1-1, when I was looking at the bench, I was like, oh, my God, these guys have got options, Like, I was looking, they got, like Jesus. I think they had Smith Rowe, Nelson, and Reece Nelson. Yeah, this is the level of game that you want to bring a Reece Nelson onto. Like, do you know what I mean? Last 10 minutes, you need a goal. Reece Nelson. That's the game. You don't want to bring Reece Nelson in versus like Liverpool at home, but like you play Brentford at home, Reece Nelson. You might as well bring on Lionel Messi. That's what you're getting at this point. So, all in all, credit to Arsenal for winning the game. And I actually that Waka Waka song is really growing on me. Like, it's actually a really good chant.
Listen,
like,
Kai Havertz is giving Shakira a new life.
They have the Saliba chant. They have the Havertz chant. If their fan base wasn't so damn unlikable, I might like some of Arsenal's players. But yeah, other than that, good win for Arsenal.
Saliba's giving Shakira a comeback.
Yeah, no, it's all good, man. Like, credit to Arsenal. They got the win. They got the W. They got, I think it's Porto coming up this week. They got bigger fish to fry.
Miguel, do you want to talk about sustainable?
Let's hear what you got to say about sustainable.
I know how you want to.
Let's see what they got there. Let's see what they got.
No, I know how you guys likes to ask the sustainable question with late winners or close wins. Arsenal were always expected to win this game. Yeah. Was it high drama because it took so late to win it? Yeah. Was everybody's eyes out there watching to see whether they would drop points? 100%. But they were expected to win. Am I going to be like, credit to Kai Havertz on the late winner or credit to Arsenal showing the resilience to win this game? No. You're supposed to win. You're supposed to win it. You guys don't give any credit, whether it's a Liverpool team, whether it's a City team. You don't give credit when we happen to win against a lesser opponent. Do you?
But Vader, during matches, football is an unpredictable game. Things change in a football game.
To be fair, Vader, when you beat Brentford, I said this City team is unbelievable. They win ugly.
They win ugly.
That's something I've never seen with a Pep Guardiola team. I've never ever seen that until this season, where a team can just play so poorly and just so kind of on the fringes and still go out and thrash an opponent. Only Manchester City are capable of this. And that's
you want to know something? I know what you're about to ask, and I'm gonna beat you to the punch.
Go on.
Is it unsustainable when you concede based on your own error? You slap the ball basically into your own net, and then from the rest of the game, you suffocate them till the last second, and then you.
This is what I'm gonna say.
You take it.
This is what I'm gonna say, because again, we got to be careful with the conversations that we have. We got to be careful with the content that we create and how we title some of our videos.
Did you see my recent title?
No. I'm just. Let me speak in general. Don't get triggered. But we've seen City dominate games, possession, stats, all of the attacking stats. But what? The opposing team stay in it because you don't finish your chances, or there's an error, and it's a closer game that ends up happening. That's part of football. 100% agree. But we need to be careful how we phrase some of these things. Now, I think what makes Arsenal so dangerous, and I've said this for a while, it's going back to how they performed against Liverpool. If you're going to do a marker, if you're going to put a point in time, for those of you in your MCU universes, timelines, if you want to do that, right? This timeline after Arsenal beat Liverpool, their confidence has been off the charts. I know this game, they didn't score their 4 or 5 plus goals, but the way they're playing, the confidence that they're playing with is why they're dangerous. I'm actually excited. I'm happy for this international break. I'm hoping that, like, and again, yeah, not so much with the mess up their rhythm, but also to be able to like study Arsenal a little more, because they should be looked at as now one of those teams that everybody should be properly prepared for. There's no sneaking up on wins anymore for Arsenal, right? So
we're still sneaking up on certain people. You want to know why? They don't rate us. But I want to know what my brother thinks. As a Liverpool fan, what do you think right now about Arsenal?
I've called Arsenal on my shows as well, and my Liverpool fans, my fan base, they give me so much stick for it. I give Arsenal too much credit. They say, why do you always talk so highly about Arsenal? Why do you like Arsenal so much? But I think it's I see a lot of Liverpool in Arsenal, whereas they started as a team in a process under a manager who's very different circumstances of Mikel Arteta's his first managerial job, but similar circumstances in the sense where they had to build their team up. They've not had the influx of cash straight away like a Man City, like a Newcastle, like a Chelsea, etc. They're not been able to throw money at the problem. No, Arsenal have not had that. So if you look at Arsenal's structure, they had to get rid of all the dead weight first by adding transfers over a period of time, slowly by slowly. They added Ben White, then they added Ramsdale, then they added Odegaard, slowly, and they had to get rid of Mustafi, Socrates, the likes of Kolasinac, get some of these players out of the football club just so they can build and start again, similar to what Klopp did at Liverpool. And that's why I look at the two teams. And then they had that one massive sum of spending where they got Declan Rice this summer, and that was the pinnacle there. I call that their Virgil van Dijk signing, which took them to that next level, which is why I think compared to what they were last season to what they are now, they're a completely different level. Although maybe not points-wise, but they're scoring goals, they're not conceding goals, they've got the best attack in the Premier League, they've got the best defensive record in the Premier League, and they are beating teams like they beat Manchester City this season, they've beaten Liverpool this season, and those are two title rivals. And if you told me this 3 years ago that Arsenal are going to be in a title race and they're going to beat Man City and Liverpool, I would have called you stupid, because look at where they are now, Arsenal, and look at where they were 3 years ago. 3 years ago, it was all about City and Liverpool, but Arsenal have sneaked themselves into this conversation, and somehow, somewhere, they're first in this conversation. And you ask yourself, is this sustainable? But if you look at the progression they've made, they're only going up. They've only going up. Look at Mikel Arteta's progression at Arsenal: 8th, 5th, 2nd, 1st. He's first. If you look at that and they stay there, what more can you say about?
Hey! You better asterisk that first. You better asterisk. Yeah.
Back in the Champions League, Arsenal have got a game against Porto, which I expect them to win. I would never have thought Arsenal would be this quickly.
You know what I don't like? Sorry, Jay, one sec.
Tell me.
I don't like when we talk about teams' resurgence and teams building, and then it's so easy to say, oh, cash injection City. But when it spoke about when Liverpool make their resurgence, when Arsenal make their resurgence, there's not because of a huge cash injection. Let's be real. This change from when Arsenal are properly challenging is when he got backed with spending. When Liverpool got back to doing their thing, they had that big summer on getting those key players spending.
One second. How many players did Mikel Arteta sign are actually like 50 million plus signings?
No. See, that's where you try to trick it now. Now you want to talk about the individual players being big.
Why did you say 50 million? Why do you use the caveat of 50 million?
No, because the reason why
you have less players.
The reason why
50 million is too much. Why can't we use 38 million?
Okay. The reason why City gets put with the tag of spending their way to the top. The reason why Chelsea gets put with the tag of spending their way to the top.
You've got a £100 million midfielder in Declan Rice. Come on, man.
Bro, we need to stop this. It's spending, period. It's not spending by player. It's spending, period. You guys spent a lot.
Yeah, bro.
And 100%.
Honestly, two things. First of all, one, in order to compete in today's football, you have to spend. That's
it's not even today, Egal. From time when you guys made your thing.
Number two, don't try to compare Arsenal situation to City or Chelsea, because the amount of spending they did in conjunction to what they actually made was questionable. That's why people get onto them. No one's getting onto City because now they're spending money and they're making a lot of money. To be fair, to be seriously fair, the reason why we spend today is because the transfer fees of players has gone through the roof. You're spending 65 million pounds on a squad player, where before City were throwing around money like crazy. Chelsea throwing around money like crazy.
This is. I don't want to derail your show with regards to the spending. It's not a fair point.
I think you're making a fair point, but to rebuttal it, my point is, bro, City and Chelsea spending in conjunction to what they were making was questionable. That's why people get onto you. They don't get onto you for spending. No. They get onto you how you spend.
Okay.
You don't see Newcastle spending the same way you guys did.
It's different now.
That's my point.
So no. This is what we're gonna get at. Okay, we're doing this. The whole spending. If you want to question whether we had enough to be spending how much we were spending, that's for another time. But if we're talking about who spent to get back into the mix of competing, we've all done it. We've all done it. No one's done it on the cheap. Everyone has spent big money to get back into the mix to win titles.
But guess what? Here's where the sustainability comes into it. Because there's questions about Chelsea and City actually following the rules with the sustainability laws. Where with Arsenal, with Liverpool, there's no questions about that. Back when Manchester United were doing it, sustainability didn't even exist. Real Madrid, no one cares. We know Real Madrid and these teams do it. We know teams need to spend. But the question about City, the reason why you guys get bent is not because of your spending. It's because of how you got to the level you got to.
No, I get all that. But you know what's funny, Igal? If City were doing this before 2013, it's not even a thing. Before these 2013 rules were invented, it's not even a thing. But because you're now implementing rules, now how we spend's questioned. But if we were doing this way before then, it's calm. It's just like everybody else.
Yeah, it'd be like Chelsea.
That's why it's wild.
But just to throw a couple of bits on Igal. So I want to say that Veta makes a very good point. There's very little difference between City, Liverpool, and Arsenal in terms of what they actually did with the money, how they targeted young profile players in a 30 to 50 million pound range. Your issue is with, should City have had that money in the first place to invest? You're not actually got an issue with City doing that, because all of the clubs had a similar strategy in terms of the age profile and the skill level. So realistically, what Veta's saying, and I hear it actually, I hadn't really thought of it like that, but when he said it like that, I've been like, nobody's talking about how much money Arsenal have spent to become highly competent.
Because people were laughed at us. One second. We got ridiculed. We got bantered.
You're conflating million on Ben White. I don't care about where the money is coming from.
One second. It doesn't add up, though.
It makes no sense to my point.
It doesn't add up, Jay. I'm sorry. It doesn't add up. We got bantered. We got criticized. We got ridiculed.
What's that got to do with my point, though, Igal?
It does. Okay, go ahead.
What is my point, Igal? My point is that Arsenal have built this squad by strengthening and developing it in a similar way to how Liverpool did their squad and a similar way to how City did their squad. Your issue is, should City have had enough money to do that in the first place? That's a different point to the strategy and investment in those players and the way they put the squads together. So that I get completely what you're saying, and I agree. No one's saying that Arsenal have not self-funded, like self-sufficient, minimal input from the owners.
Like for more
That's
debate.
a different question. That's a different question. What Veta is actually saying is that
the show today. I think this is the new way I got to do it.
Arsenal spent a lot to become highly competent, and that goes under the radar in comparison to other teams like a City, who they constantly say about how much they spent, but City are probably better run than Arsenal in terms of like spending now. It's just
100%.
they might have artificially doped to get there. But like Veta says, that's a conversation for another day.
I think you gotta go, bro. So I appreciate you jumping on, my guy. Really, really
nice
do. I
meeting
think you did a wonderful job on your debut to the channel. And of course, I'd love to have you on anytime. You're going on your own channel right now. Link is in the description to his channel. Born and Red, right?
Yes, sir.
There you go. So you have yourself a great match reaction. I'll catch you on the next one.
Take care, guys. Thank you, guys. We'll speak later. Jay, thank you. Nice to meet you as well.
So with all the title race talk, we forgot there's another race. It's the top 4 race.
Hey!
I think Tottenham have just solidified their spot in the top 4 with this win. This win takes away that wide gap from Aston Villa. And the way you guys beat Villa, you didn't just beat them, you embarrassed them today. You did. This reminds me of what you did to us when we played you and we had Rob Holding and Cedric in that game at White Hart Lane. You got.
Why'd you have to mention those players?
I know, he didn't. He could have said what you did to us at White Hart Lane. Like you didn't have to say Rob Holding was playing.
Yeah, you know I had to. Listen, you made their captain lose their head. You made them friggin' give you guys the ball anytime you wanted, and you're cutting them open just before you went down to 10 men. You were 2-0 up before you went down to 10 men also. James Maddison shows up in every big game for you guys so far, I feel like. Son is a big game player. And you know what? Even your new signings, Timo Werner and Brendan Johnson stepped in for goals. I think Tottenham are nailed on for the top 4. And I think Ange Postecoglou and your players shouldn't be like saying, oh, we're shooting for 8th. They should say, you know what? We're coming for it and we're going to get it. Because I think you guys are. And I really do hate it, but you guys are playing well for a team that's in a top 4 battle. You guys seem a lot better.
Well, the few points to make is that like this game and Palace game, like I remember watching Arsenal and I remember watching you guys and being a bit jealous of some of the control that I saw of Arsenal's game. So watching Spurs against Villa and Spurs against Palace, I'm starting to see the control. I'm starting to see, you know, what a top side has when they dominate the ball and they dominate they control the game. And yeah, I think Villa, this game was an interesting game because I do think Villa are a good side. And I wasn't sure where Villa were versus us, whether are they slightly better than us, are they slightly worse than us? So
Can
for
I
me,
respond to this comment quickly?
Yeah, sure.
I don't like Spurs. You know that. But Aston Villa Twitter literally did a video, took one of my TikToks out of context, and were hounding me for 2 weeks. So I have a personal beef with Aston Villa Twitter. No offense to anybody else, but I enjoyed the fact, knowing that it's Tottenham. Obviously, I didn't enjoy it, but I enjoyed the fact that I seen Aston Villa falling down a peg because they were on their high horse, acting like they're all this mighty team. We have a Champions League. You don't get out of here.
Yeah. So I was just gonna say, and just to touch on that, it's funny because like I don't begrudge like the Villas and the Newcastles and the Brighton fans, you know, when you know their team makes Europe and they're doing well and you know the fans are excited and happy, cool. You know, obviously it seems like very low-hanging fruit to me because they are very critical of Spurs not winning anything or not doing anything. And first time they make Europe, they're out doing conga lines around their stadiums and stuff, which is cool, and they're entitled to do that. But for me and Villa have a good team. They've got good players, and I wanted to see like show me, because when we played them at White Hart Lane, we had a Ben Davies, Emerson Royale centre-back partnership, but we packed them in that game. They were very, very lucky to win that game. And this was our full team, and I was like, okay, let's see what they've got. People were talking spicy on Brennan Johnson. They were talking about my boy Brennan. I've always been a big Brennan Johnson fan. I loved him at Forest. And when I saw it and people were like, 50 million is too much, I said, no, that's the going rate for a good English winger. If you want a homegrown winger, that's a good price. So, you know, he's cooking at the moment. Do you know what I mean? He's coming. Turbo Timo, you know, that's four, 2 goals, two assists in 7 games. I might have to break down the per 90 stats to make that look a little bit more impressive in a second. But yeah, no, big win. Big win. Like, And I think for Spurs, the best thing that I can say about Spurs is that Spurs are a team now who play on the front foot. So other teams, we're playing a lot of low blocks. And it's good for the team to learn and develop. That's how the team gets better. Because you can always counter. And what teams like Villa and stuff will find is that next season, when you're playing teams with sustained low blocks and things like that, and you're the team that's getting countered on, yeah, how do you work? How do you do the positions? Things like that. So I think it was a huge game. 5 points could have been 8. Probably would have been too much. I don't think we could have closed 8 points in what was left of the season, especially with our run. But this goes on to say that, I think that this was a statement victory for Tottenham. It was a big.
All right, Jay. All right, that's enough. That's enough.
It was a big statement victory. And I'm looking for you guys. I'll see you because you are not. Listen, we have the opportunity to stop you from winning the league. Yeah, you have to.
We'll get to that. Hold on, Jay. We'll get to that.
I'm just saying that, Igal, don't worry about it. Don't worry about us. We got something for you.
I want to speak on this. This is a statement game because I interact with a few Spurs fans, right? And I just want to understand because throughout the season, when things progress, you have different questions, right? You're looking for different answers. At this point in the season, you guys have now played 27 games, so you got 11 more to go. What is the absolute minimum finish you want from your club right now? Are you here ready to say that you don't want anything less than 4th?
I mean, I think for the ratings that the fan base gives the players and the esteem that certain players are held in terms of perception of quality level versus their peers, 4th should be the target. We dropped some. We dropped a lot of points when our centre backs were injured. Dropped some stupid points in certain games. We're not polished enough yet, but we're not as close to we're a lot better than the likes of a Man United. Do you know what I mean? We're not near a City or an Arsenal yet, but we are. The gap between us and a United and a Chelsea is quite big. Yeah, compared to it's probably a smaller gap between us and the likes of you guys than it is between us and the teams below us in terms of defined style of play and what we're doing. So. And what did I say? Brendan was in? Did I say Brendan Johnson was English? I don't think I said Brendan Johnson was English. Did I say that? I'm sorry if I said that. I know he's Welsh. I know Brendan Johnson's Welsh. I'm sorry if I said he was English. I think 4th and a good finish, 4th and beating Arsenal. I will take that right now. Yeah, that's fine for me. 4th and beating Arsenal.
Listen, if we lose to you but we win the league, I don't give a shit.
If you lose to us, you ain't winning the league.
Listen, Igal, I was losing to Spurs every season and winning the league. It's calm.
Yeah. Look, I'm just gonna say this. You guys got top 4 wrapped up. Your whole season is dependent on if Arsenal win the league or not.
I think it's not dependent. It's
not wrapped up. Top 4 isn't wrapped up.
We have skin in the game, Miguel. I'm not hate watching when you come to our stadium. I'm watching. Do you know what I mean? I'm here watching live in HD. Yeah, because the thing is that you're a good side, but don't forget, there isn't a team that's come to your stadium that's played better than Spurs this season. Yeah.
Yeah, but you want to know why?
Don't forget that.
Because Declan Rice came off the pitch and we lost control.
Okay, what was the score when Declan Rice came off the pitch?
It was 1-1. No, 2-1.
You know what I do like? I do like the fact that Spurs play City, then Arsenal, then Liverpool. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, you know something? We will have to come back to this next season because they don't want to believe me. Anyways, I think we're going to wrap it up here. Vader, I think this was a great show. Hope you enjoyed it. Jay, hope you enjoyed it. Everyone in the chat, hope you guys enjoyed it. I've seen a lot of engagement. We have over 500 people watching right now still with everyone on Twitter and everyone on YouTube. So I really do appreciate the love and support, guys. And yeah, that's it for now. I'll catch you guys. Ramadan Kareem to everybody. Ramadan starts tomorrow, the holy month of Ramadan. So we're all going to be fasting for 30 days, inshallah. And everyone take full advantage of it. I'm going to try my best to do that, even though I have a surgery on Monday. And if you guys don't know, this pump is going to be gone.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Beautiful.
Can you guys even see it?
A little bit, like depending on the angle.
My mom has been bothering me about it. She's like, "Yo, Igal, you need to get it checked out." I went to the doctor. It's not cancer or anything like that, but they're like, let's just remove it for safety. I'm like, okay.
Okay, beautiful. Well, all the best to God, and I trust me and the rest of the viewers all hope it goes well for you. And be safe.
Nah, don't worry. I'll be back.
I'll see you with a little smiley face bandage in no time. Yeah.
There you go. And I'll catch you guys for the Porto game. That's the next one I'm gonna do.
Woo!
Yeah, lovely.
Man said, "Ooh, like you think we're gonna lose?"
Arsenal.
Nah, it's a big game. I'm saying that's the tune in. Tune in to that.
Brentford was the perfect warm up for Porto. They're gonna play the exact same way.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways,
I'm
peace
looking
out. Said something?
Yeah. No, I'm saying I need that.